Hey guys, Alex Radioactive here, and we are back with another video. This is actually one of our, well, before we get too far, hugs. Boop. But, so, this is a video that was in my community post that we made the other day, and they wanted to know how do I deal with hiding diapers when I was in school and in public. And this is a very good topic. Now, like what I did and what may or may not work for you guys may be two different things. Um, because one, I was in school over 10 years ago was the last time I was in school, and that was not even high school. 10 years ago I was out of high school and in another school, like college thing. But anyways, so what worked for me I'm going to start with like grade school, then high school, and then so on into public stuff. So what worked for me was obviously I've been in diapers my whole life, never been out. So a lot of people already knew that I was going to be wearing diapers because I was special needs. So for me, it wasn't so much hiding them, which there was a lot of people that, you know, I tried to hide them from, like other students and stuff like that. Um, and then what worked for me, I know this is going to sound weird, but tight fitting jeans helped keep the crinkle down because when I was in school, disposable diapers were like the way to go. And for me, the tight clothes would keep the noise of the diaper down. Um, Normally, what I'd do is like wear like tight pajamas and then put a pair of like baggy pants on over them, so that way it was both that and then. But that will also cause you to get really hot. But when I was a young kid, like in grade school, it never really bothered me. Maybe because I was always in them. Yeah, so there was teasing and bullying from other kids, but most of the time I just ignored them because that's what worked for me. But you also pull-ups were a thing, and I did wear a lot of pull-ups, so it wasn't like really bad. And then, being in grade school, I was old enough to know it's like, hey, I'm wet, I need to go change, and I would go. At that time, there's a lot of people that tell different stories about nurses changing them and all that. And for me, it wasn't that. Like, if I was just wet, it was I would go to the bathroom, change myself, basically. Um, and then if it was a real bad accident, they would call my uncle who was raising me at the time, and he would come to the school and either take care of it there or we'd go back to the house and he'd change me there and then bring me back to school. So there's a lot of different things that could go. Tight fitting clothes helped hide them and stuff like that. But like I said, grade school wasn't too bad. Now middle school and high school are in this were for me were in the same building, and when I was in those two, um, what worked was my uncle bought me custom made onesies, the shirts that snapped in the crotch. And that way, if I ever bent over, nothing was showing. And those would be either black, blue, or some dark color that no one could see through. And that helped. But unfortunately for me, was when I was younger, a lot of people knew why I wore and all that. So everybody just generally knew. So for me, it was more bully control than uh, dealing with that. And fortunately for me, most of the students in my school did not bully me for wearing diapers. They knew it was a disability and they were taught, at a very young age that it's a disability. And fortunately, in my school, we had a few bullies, but the ones that wanted to be a bully tended to get bullied more than anybody else. So that's what worked for me. If you are incontinent or in diapers during school and you are getting bullied or something like that, do not be afraid to talk to a teacher or the staff, like of that school. I would recommend like your principal or someone like nurse or somebody like that. Just be like, hey, I'm getting bullied because I got this disability, and maybe there's something they can do to help prevent that because no one needs to be bullied. Now, let's talk about high school. Different animal. Yes, very different animal because there it's like, oh, you got to hide it from everybody. And by that point in time, I was like very embarrassed by it, and I had to hide it very well. Well, again, pull-ups were what I wore a lot to school until the point I had my first leak accident, which was freshman year, about halfway through the year. And then after that, I went back to the tape on diapers. Uh, for me, back then was when I first heard of ABU. Yeah, I'm that old. ABU is like ABU and like Bambinos were the only two think diaper companies out there that were well known at the time. So we were with ABU, and I wore, I think it was the Super Dry Kids, I think is what they had at the time, or Cushies or something like that. And I wore those and the Bambinos. And back then, you could wear tight fitting clothes and the custom made onesies my uncle had made. Well, he didn't have them made. He ordered them from a special needs disability website. I don't remember what it was. Don't ask me because I don't know. Remember, I was little at this time and young. That was a long time ago, and many brain injuries later. Nothing. But yes, so I wore those because they didn't leak, and then again, onesies and help keep it hidden. And if they were tight enough, it kept them from making too much noise. And then again, my school was very big. I mean, well, decent size. So there was always a lot of noise to hide, mask it, people just talking in general, stuff like that. I was also a very quiet person in school. Uh, didn't really like talk to a lot of people. So I stayed away from most people other than my small group of friends who all knew and were okay with my disability. Now, let's talk about in public. What can you do to hide your diapers in public? Well, really, you should never be ashamed of your disability. Never. But again, you don't need to be like some people, no names being mentioned because they don't deserve any fame. Uh, let's not, we don't always want to put our diapers on display. So, for just random people that, don't need to see it. So, and just ignore this person in the background. He's a friend. We're going to go play games here in a little bit. But onesies are the best for like hiding because if you bend over and your shirt comes up, they can't see nothing. I always recommend them. ABU, Tykables, just about every diaper company has onesies that are really good for this. They have discreet ones, and then they got the cutesy ones. And I like the cutesy because I'm cute. Just like you. But no, there is a lot of different ways to hide them. Again, sweatpants will hide the bulge if you're worried about someone seeing a bulge. Tight hides the noise. Some people put underwear on over their diapers, which helps with the noise. So that's the best I can tell you. Now, if you are truly got a medical issue and like you're in school and stuff, don't be afraid to talk to the school or have your parents talk to the school about a private place for you to change for like gym class and stuff. Because for me, that was like the biggest struggle. So what worked for me was I had a gray onesie because we had to wear white shirts. So I would wear the gray onesie under the white shirt because one, the gray really, it was a very light gray, so it didn't like bleed through the white shirt, so no one really seen that I was wearing a shirt under. And it would mask if I bent over or something, they wouldn't see the diaper. It just looked to them. Most of the time it would be just underwear, or they would just think I was wearing an undershirt, something like that. And if anybody ever questioned me about it, I always told them, well, it's because I sweat a lot and I didn't want to get my shirt all sweaty and then have my, you know, thing because I was a pretty big boy. I like to eat. I got a big belly. I don't like showing my belly because I was embarrassed by my size more than my underwear. Because that's really all diapers are in the end. They're just underwear. And if anyone ever bullies you, tell them to get. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but tell them to get deleted of word themselves, or yeah, they can go get deleted. Yeah, something like that. Because I can't say the other word because my big is in the other room, and I don't want to get a spanking. But yes, now if you are someone that just wants to wear a diaper to school, and your parents don't know, you don't have a medical reason, this is tricky. Again, everything I'm telling you will work sometimes, but again, every time you do that, you're at risk. So of getting found out by a teacher or another student because I mean you can hide some things most of the time, but not all the time. So just know, personally, I can't give you 100% guarantee that no one will ever find out. So if that's what you were asking in that question, I can't tell you what will work 100% because nothing's 100% in life. Like anyone that tells you they're 100% perfect, they're nothing but a liar. So yeah, except for me, I'm 100% not innocent. I am the biggest bully ever. No, I am cute. But again, no one, including myself, is 100% perfect. And anyone that says they are is nothing but a liar. And what the? What are you doing? You're making a pillow fort, and you're sticking your tongue at me? You see what I deal with? He just comes in here on my stream, plays around in the background, and then makes a pillow fort, and then sticks his tongue at me. I want to go play in the pillow fort now. I want to go play in the pillow fort. Can I go play in the pillow fort, please? I'll be a good boy. Also, um, but yeah, they're in public. The best thing is, like I said, tight fitting clothes, onesies. And I know a lot of people are like, "Well, then the bulge shows." Well, guess what? If they're looking at your bulge, they're not looking for a diaper. I promise. If they're looking down there, they're looking for something else, and it's not your bulge, because they're not going to think, "Oh, this guy's got a nice diaper bulge." Well, they're looking for a bulge, but not the diaper bulge. But seriously, I have been out and had my diapers like where we all know this feature of the diapers where you put them on and they're a little too big and the wings of the diaper kind of stick out of your shirt. I've been out in public and had that happen before because I forgot to tuck it in or it came untucked and walked around and no one ever noticed, or if they did, they never said a word because most people in public, they don't care what you're wearing. Sorry, your $500 shirt or $600 pair of pants or couple 100,000 or whatever dollar shoes, no one really cares. That's why I always, when I see people with their pants hanging down below their butt, I go, ooh, that guy's got a nice diaper. No, I'm joking. I don't do that. But no, seriously, no one cares what you're wearing. No one cares about your clothes. There's more important things in life than worrying about what you're wearing. And sorry, a diaper is clothes. And unless they're like an ABDL or someone that's like, ooh, is that person wearing a diaper? They're checking everybody to see if they're wearing a diaper. Then no one's going to notice, or they just don't care. And if they do care and say something, well, guess what? They're one person in a million that no one cares about. I mean, no one cares about their opinion. Let me say it like that. But no, being in diapers my whole life, I have gotten used to people finding out. Some people bully me. I just ignore it for the most part. Um, I do have a friend, cannot mention their name. They are not in this live stream somewhere, so that's not him back there because my friend is female. But I do have a friend who, in real life, wears diapers just because they like the way they feel. They're a safety comfort. Like for me, my hat is my safety comfort. So if you ever see me wearing a hat and you try to take my hat, we're gonna fight. Um, Everybody has their safety comfort. Some people wear gloves, some people wear hats, some people have blankets, some people wear diapers. And this individual wears diapers for comfort. And when they told their parents about it, when they were, oh, I think they were 12 or 13, their parents at first took them to the doctor, get them checked out, yada, yada, yada. And they got one of those good therapists who were like, well, there's nothing wrong with them wearing them. And this friend honestly doesn't use them. Well, they use them now, but back then didn't. And, they were not ashamed of it. And when people bullied them, they're like, yeah, and your point? Which I think they went the angle of they had a medical issue and just didn't ever explain it to people because it was none of their business. But I may be wrong. I don't know. We met at a event catered to incontinent individuals or people with bladder and bowel issues. It was, I wouldn't say it was like a convention or con or anything. It was just people that deal with this to kind of socialize and talk about it. They did a one time in person event. It was actually in Louisville, Kentucky, years and years ago. I was still living in Illinois and didn't know my husband at the time. And they actually had a chat room which has since unfortunately gone away, that for us all to talk, and people just talked and shared about their things. And that's another thing. There's a lot of groups on Facebook and other places talking about ABDL, or whether you're an ABDL or incontinent person, talking about wearing diapers and stuff. And everybody has a different thing that works for them. Everybody has a story of how they got caught by somebody, or someone found out. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and you know, don't ever let anybody hurt your feelings over it. So guys, I'm going to end this video right there. I love you all. And before we go, and before I give you your hugs and your final licks and boops, um, our next video topic will be about this. Ooh, something new on the channel. Love you guys. Yep. Lick. Boop. And, oh, hitting walls. And now turn buttons up. Oh, good huggers. Yep. And this is why you don't play VR, or this is why you don't play VR in not so good places. So I don't know if you guys heard any of that I just said, because I hit a wall. But this is why you don't play VR, because you hit things, walls. Best huggers. Boop. Bye.